guys, welcome to I forgot what number this is, but today we will be going over Izanami, the matron of the dead, I think. Is that who she is? Who is she? The matron of the dead. Go me, I remembered that shit. Also, this mummy skin's great. I love it so much. So, unlike the other gods, I only have her mastery 6, so like I said, you don't have to listen to me. This is one of the characters that my boyfriend really enjoys, so I wanted to just make this video so that way I can basically show him how to play this character. Izanami is a lot different than most hunters because she is more of a mage-esque than like Ram or like Shibalanke or stuff. She is she she has a giant AoE mage like ult. I know it's not really that big. What is it? It's like 15 units. So yeah, it's a radius of 15, so it's actually like 30. So it's not that big, but she does a lot of damage. She is most definitely a hyper carry with how you're supposed to play her. So let's jump right into it with our starter items. So I see a lot of people building bluestone on her. Don't do that. She is not an ability-based mage, despite her having mage-like abilities. I know I just counteracted myself, but trust me, you're going to want Death's Toll on her, because your goal is not necessarily to do damage in the early game, it's more of to sustain, and Death's Toll really allows you to do that, right? So, next, other starter items you could get, Bumba's Mask, that's decent on her. Yeah. That's really it. If you're in duo lane, this is really it. If you're in mid, however, I would just recommend going tier 1 boots and then potions. She's an interesting hunter because a lot of people tend to build her like other hunters when she really isn't like other hunters. She has AoE auto attacks, and personally I like to build her a little bit differently than some of the other hunters I would play that have an attack speed steroid, right? So since she has an attack speed steroid, you're getting warrior tabby almost every time. Like, I don't know why you would get ninja tabby, because you're going to be getting more attack speed later on in the build. So warrior tabby is definitely the way to go, like, easily. Like, there's no reason to get ninja tabby. It's not bad on her, I'll admit, but you could be doing so much more because she has a 70% attack speed buff. I think it's something ridiculous like that, right? So once you get warrior tabby, a lot of people like to go a stacking item like Devourer's Gauntlet or Transcendence, because she, like I said, mage like damage, high scaling abilities, and she has that attack speed steroid, right? That's not what you do. See, I know that sounds ridiculous, but even if you get Devourer's Gauntlets, right? In the beginning stages of the game, this 7% lifesteal, right? If you get it with like Bumbas, odds are you won't, but if you get this with like Bumbas, right? And instead of Bumbas, right? That 7% lifesteal doesn't take effect until you hit like level 6. So don't, it's not worth it really to go Devos in the early game, but the point of Devos is for the late game. But she isn't that good with lifesteal, if that makes sense, because her auto attacks only give her 33% of the normal lifesteal. So even if she auto attacks somebody for 100, she'll only get 33 of it. So she's not that good unless you're in year 1. If you're in year 1, if your 1 steroid's going, your attack speed steroid, then it's good. But that's only for like 8 seconds, so there's really no point in Devourer's Gauntlets being picked up, right? So your first item after boots will be Executioner, and that's because it gives you a lot of attack speed, decent power, and that penetration early on. You can get 2 stacks per auto attack, so if you hit them once, that's 12%, back, that's 24, and then one more, that's 36. So Executioner is really good on her, right? And then from there, you can get Aussie, if you really wanted to. It's really good for boxing late game. I know that I said lifesteal isn't that good on her, but Aussie's pretty decent on her due to the fact that she wants to be low health to get the use out of her passive. So Aussie allows her to get to that low health and then be able to just shred everything. It allows her to be that monster that she wants to be, you know? And then from there, you're going to want crit. Crit everything. But, so you'll start off with Poison Star because it's the cheapest, then Wind Demon, and then you'll end it with Malice. Where is Malice? Malice. So, you might be asking yourself, why not Deathbringer? Well, that's because her auto attacks work better with Malice than they do with Deathbringer. And that's because Deathbringer does increase the damage of the crit, but her auto attacks without her one won't be doing as much as they would. Hold on, let me think. Let me explain this. I'm trying to explain this the best I can. So, since her auto attacks are 75-25, right? The crit is lower than it normally would be. So Deathbringer is less effective than Malice because Malice is 75% of your total basic attack power, right? So Malice is just all around better. You could get Rage, although I think she works much better off of like Wind Demon, Poison Star, and Malice than she does off of Rage, because this adds the 20% slow and then 20% damage reduction. This gives you movement speed buff. This gives you the bonus damage. Like, this is essentially what your Izanami build's gonna be. You can also switch out Aussie for like chins if you really wanted to for that extra damage. But all around, this will more than likely be your Izanami build, right? So if we just equip all this, alright, our crit chance is at 60. So odds are when you throw out one auto attack and you hit them both, odds are you're probably gonna crit them with one of them, and that gets Malice off, because she can get multiple Malice ticks off, right? So you can crit once going out, and crit back, and that 75% will hit twice, so that's always nice. And then that slow will stay on there even longer, and Wind Demon will be on there even longer. Aussie is mostly built just for that late game boxing potential, because if you get low, you can easily just pop your one and then just heal up on something. Even the Gold Fury can't kill you with Aussie late game with crit. It's ridiculous. Executioner, it's Executioner. So if you look over here to the stats, you have 20 lifesteal. It's your your attack speed's really high, so you will max out with your one. I believe I'm like pretty sure you'll max out with your one late game at 2.5, but once again, don't quote me. So yeah, this will basically be your damage ADC slash mid Izanami build. She's only really built one way. You can build her with the damage stuff, but honestly, this is the way to go. The reason why she isn't played much right now is if you build her this way, she will die up against somebody who has thorns or who has Hide of the Nemean Lion. Those are two of her biggest counters. So, like, I guess the argument that this build is bad due to those two things being in the game, that does make sense. Also, if they have Kuzembo on the enemy team, Izanami just doesn't do anything. She just ends up killing herself. But you could build her the other ways. It's just that this build will completely destroy people. If that shield of Underworld, or is it Thorns? I think it's Thorns. If that Thorns is down and they don't have a hide, this will completely destroy people, trust me. Defensive items, you don't really want to build defensive items on her because she just does so much, right? Frostbound Hammer, however, is actually very good on her because she can get that double, well, it's not double, but she can proc it twice, right? So that 25%, that, or is it 20% range basic attack slow, right? That's always good. You can also get, where is it? It complements it, Runeforge Hammer, right? That'll increase your damage by 15%. Be it, I don't know, if you wanted to get rid of the crit items and get these, and then like chin size, that works too. I guess that would be a better build if you're fighting into like Kuzembo. Another defensive item that works, Magi's. Why not? It's Magi's. Magi's is good on everything. And then I guess a mantle to round it out. She can also get away with Hide of the Urchin as long as you're killing people. Hide of the Urchin's good. Relic-wise, Aegis Amulet and Beads, because you are a hyper carry, therefore you are fairly squishy. But if you do go this build, you have a lot. You have, how much health is this? 250, 300. So you have 550 extra health. So it helps. It helps you survive a lot longer. but you still want those. You can also get a Belt of Frenzy because her objective push is insane. Although with these two builds, you won't really be doing that much against objectives, so it's up to you. What else is there? Where's Sprint? Where's Sprint? Heavenly Wings. I keep calling it Sprint. Heavenly Wings is really good on her because that haste passive. So if you pop that haste passive and you have that crit build, you just run around in circles with people because that Poison Star and the Wind Demon, she's ridiculous in the late game if you play her correctly. Consumable wise, you're squishy, get wards, don't get Chalice of Oracle because you won't be able to get enough use out of it. Um, Late game, you can choose between if you want to do more damage or if you want to survive longer. It's up to you. So yeah, all in all, Izanami is a really interesting character in my opinion. I think that if it wasn't for Thorns and Kuzembo and Yumi and Lion, she would definitely be picked up a lot more. But unfortunately, those things all exist, and that kind of shits on her. So I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!